On the other side of the state, Doug Doherty's Seaside School District faces a double whammy.
We are in probably one of the most dangerous places in Oregon to have schools.
But when it came to finding a new home for Seaside's aging schools, Doug ran into a problem. As recently as the 1990s, no one knew how high was high enough to get out of the path of a tsunami. Doug asked Rob Witter, a geologist for the USGS, to find out. Rob probed into the hills above Seaside and Cannon Beach, and he found a story in the sand that revealed Oregon's violent past.
So that tsunami came in and it crashed through the forest. It carried beach sand with it, and it towered above our heads almost 2 stories. It flooded the entire valley.
The evidence came in core after core of soil. The geologic layers Rob saw read like pages in a book.
We were able to find sand 1,000 years old deposited over a mile from the mouth of Ecola Creek. That's evidence that an ancient tsunami that inundated this valley 1,000 years ago flooded all the way up to this point.
I remember clearly a phone call that basically said, Doug, we're finding things here we had no idea about.
For Doug, there was only one thing to do.
We need to move our schools at least 80 to 100 feet in elevation to be safe.
At that time, a tsunami that big was hard for Seaside residents to fathom. But then, Japan happened.
I really wanted to take you to this point because you get an overview of the entire Togura Bay and see how much damage that the tsunami actually brought.
Dr. Chris Goldfinger, Jay Wilson, and Allison Perch joined Soshu Mitsunaga on a hill above the remains of the Japanese town of Minami Sanriku. Residents knew all about tsunamis. They'd experienced several in the last century. But they thought their schools were safe.
Actually, the tsunami reached where we're standing right here.
Wow. I'm looking straight down on these cars. They're probably 70 or 80 feet below us at least, maybe a bit more, and then maybe another 10 or 20 feet down to the water surface. If you were at a place like this on the Oregon coast, you'd feel pretty safe. We're on top of a hill here. We're probably, I'm not sure, maybe 20 to 25 meters above the water right now. But where we stood right here on this berm was underwater. It was over my head right here, and there's a school behind us that was inundated to the first floor.
The similarities between Seaside and coastal Japan were so close, the geologic evidence so solid, that Doug felt his case for moving Seaside schools was a slam dunk.
It is a beautiful place to live. It's a beautiful place for people from all over to visit. Unfortunately, it's someday literally going to be a disaster area.
Doug's challenge was convincing residents to relocate all 4 Seaside schools to high ground. Price tag, $128 million.
We had so much community buy-in from our focus groups. The survey came back. There is a 70% chance that this will pass, and unfortunately, it did not pass.
Doug's plan may have been undermined by simple demographics. Polls showed local support, but only a third of local homes are owner-occupied. Nearly 2/3 are owned by non-residents who may have balked at an increase in property taxes for vacation homes and rentals.
I don't know. I'm at a point where we're all very frustrated. We know we need this to happen as soon as possible, but we don't know what it would take.
Today, all but one of Seaside District schools remain within the tsunami zone.